Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. Today we're going to be discussing Jaws and Piranha. I'm your co-host, Mitch. How's it going, John?
It's going well. I'm feeling really hot today. The heat wave has hit. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. The temperature's rising.
The temperature just rose a little bit in here.
I definitely got the swamp pit going on. So yeah, there's a bayou growing in here. Woo!
Yeah, we are in Southern California. We're in San Diego, so it is
I'm
getting
sweating
hot.
balls.
Yep. But you know, summertime, it's in full force.
Yeah.
But I would say that this is the perfect time for us to dive into the water.
I don't know about these waters. Honestly.
I don't know about, not these ones. No, these ones are full of horrible fish.
This is great because it's specifically like monster creatures in horror
Underwater
for
sea
summertime.
creatures.
Yeah, exactly.
So very fitting for what we're doing and for this podcast, and I like it.
So I believe the first movie we wanted to talk about was Piranha.
Yes. So Piranha, everywhere that I found it listed it as a parody of Jaws.
Yep.
And so it's interesting that they ended up making this parody afterwards and then remaking it so many years later. But I gotta say, Piranha is a pretty terrible movie.
Yep. Before we get to that though, we should just break down exactly what we hate about this movie.
Well, let me give you some numbers first. So Piranha came out in 1978. It was directed by Joe Dante, and the movie had a $770,000 budget, of which it made $16 million in the box office. So it was successful regardless of what people thought of it. Like, it was still not as successful as Jaws, but it still was popular. People liked it. It was a weird, like, niche audience that they reached out to. And so it made its money back. But as like an overall film, there was a few things we could pick out. I think the first thing that kind of stood out to me was the intro just felt like kind of rushed to me. Like, they just went right into it and didn't really explain a whole lot.
Yeah,
so you just get kind of thrown into it.
I definitely agree. It was very much like these two teenagers show up at like a water reservoir and straight up, I don't know a single fucking person that's going to go swimming in a water reservoir. Like, who the fuck does that?
And the guy's like, isn't this a sewage treatment? Maybe?
Right, yeah. He even comments on how it might be something completely dangerous.
This whole movie is really just a huge warning to people. Do not swim in reservoirs.
Right.
It's a really elaborate, like, hour-and-a-half long warning.
Cautionary tale.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I feel like the people who made it, they knew absolutely nothing about piranhas.
Right?
They just kind of like dropped them into their mythology and were like, all right, they're going to just eat everything and make weird like chihuahua noises.
Yeah, they all sound like muffled chihuahua grounds. Every time they're eating people.
Someone probably just stuck their head underwater and they put a mic as close as they could and just recorded that noise.
And he magically sounds like a chihuahua.
Right. So they get there and he's like, we probably shouldn't do this. And then what happens next?
The guy gets eaten and then they both just get eaten by piranhas, basically.
So this is the like sacrificial couple at the beginning to find out what's actually in the water. Mm-hmm. Right.
And then so they die, and then you've got the college girl that's like exploring these two missing teenagers.
Yeah.
And she goes and like,
was she like a journalist?
Yeah, journalist. There we go. Okay. Journalist. Excuse me.
I'm
journalist.
Pretty sure she was a journalist, and I was like, but I couldn't really tell. She didn't have like credentials,
like investigative journalist without credentials, maybe. Like we're already bored. Anyway, but she finds like the mountain man that lives out there, the guy that like lives in the sticks, and she's just like, hey, I'm looking for these teenagers. Maybe you know something about it. And he's just like, well, I guess we can go exploring. You're taking, and then she just like commandeers his car.
Hang out with this guy.
Like, I'm not driving. Well, I guess I'm gonna drive. And he goes. I don't know why the guy goes.
There's no real like motivation.
He
for
probably
characters.
hasn't talked to anyone in years. So
you're right. Yeah.
Someone came to hang out with him. He's like, yeah, whatever. We'll go check it out.
I guess
the guy has a daughter though and stuff. Like
that's fair. That's a fair
yeah,
point.
he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
See, I forget these things. It was just like because she just doesn't matter really.
I mean, at the very least, the film followed some very stereotypical like narrative pieces.
Yeah.
So it starts off. There's a warning. Everyone says it's going to be okay, and it's never okay whenever anyone says that in a film. Yeah. And then you have this guy who's supposed to be like the expert. I mean, Jaws has this guy. Jaws has that one guy who knows everything about going and fishing and hunting sharks and giant creatures. So in this case, he was supposed to be the resident expert on whatever is inside of the reservoir.
Yeah. You're talking about the old man they meet at the reservoir, right?
Yeah.
Yep, the one that they club immediately. He's
Yeah,
like, stop,
right.
don't release. They're like, yeah, I'm going to drain this entire reservoir to look for those like you have the authority.
I know.
Excuse you.
I know, it was-
Like, who the fuck do you think you are just going and draining reservoirs for... What the fuck?
I thought it was funny how they introduced that character because they're going to shut down and like drain the reservoir. And immediately he just shows up out of nowhere, just like the way they edited that whole scene and shot, where he just shows up. Like there was no like warning and saying he was living there before.
Yeah. They really didn't like build up that he was like living there. They
Oh,
built up
yeah.
that. They really didn't build that up at all. So that's another thing that.
Plus, there was this underwater like sea creature mutant that was like living with him. There was like this little stop motion.
Yeah, and it's just that for no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do anything.
No.
They like introduce. I was like, there's no way they would spend the money on like a CGI thing. Not even CGI. Like, I guess it was like the stop motion creature that shows up, like the piranha hybrid.
Yes.
They're like setting up for their sequel that's not happening.
Piranha had like 4 sequels.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's like, I think it had the same appeal as, say, Sharknado or like things like that. It got
silly.
enough people interested where they just wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, fuck it, we'll keep making more of these and making money. They made their money back. Like
They did.
It's
No,
not
they
like
really
they didn't
did.
make their money back.
Well, this was also produced by Roger Corman, where he makes movies super dirt cheap,
Yeah, that's fair.
and he manages to.
What else was he involved with?
Little Shop of Horrors,
that's
the
right.
original, where you see Jack Nicholson as the sadomasochist in the movie. For
Little Shop of Horrors was Steve Martin?
well, that was that was the remake.
Oh, that was a remake. Shit,
The
that's
musical
right.
remake.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
no, Roger Corman has like a laundry list of like like very low budget sci-fi horror movies in his pocket.
That just makes me think of, I think it was Takashi Mike, the guy who's made like over 100 films.
Oh yeah, no, I heard about that guy.
Yeah.
He just keeps, even if they're bad, he just keeps making
Keeps
them.
going.
Huh? Yeah, I think you told us
He
about him.
recently made Blade of the Immortal.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the
very cool.
most recent one he made. It's actually a pretty good film. But besides the point. Just,
Yeah.
just directors who like to make a lot of work. So he seems like the kind of guy who would just keep making B-list movies, and you could make a good, decent amount of money off of these.
Yeah,
then the sequel was actually really enjoyable. Like the one that came out in like 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for Piranha, I mean.
Piranha 3D, that one?
Yeah,
that
it
came
was
out?
like 3D. They went with the gimmick of just focusing on straight gore and nudity, and they were like, "That's all they needed."
Yeah,
People
pretty
loved
much.
it.
Yeah, no, pretty, and it was exactly what I wanted from the Piranha movie. Which this 70s one
Lacks
is not
titties.
as nearly as entertaining.
I think they were trying to make a movie that was kind of like some highbrow humor.
Yeah,
that didn't translate well.
It was definitely. I don't know if it was even highbrow. It just seemed like they were doing they were trying to do like a B movie parody of Jaws. It felt like everything felt like silly. Because
Yeah.
all right, the stupidest death in the whole fucking movie of Piranha
I think I
comes.
know which one.
Is on the fucking river with the raft.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh, yeah.
there's the doctors with them, and there's the kid in the capsized boat whose dad just got eaten.
Right.
And he's like on top of the capsized boat, and they're clearly like 200 feet away from the fucking boat. And what does this dipshit fucking like professor do? A professor! You thought the scientists in Prometheus were dumb? You ain't seen shit. This fucking dude thinks he can swim fucking 200 feet in piranha infested
got it.
waters
He's got
and
it.
just gets. And he lasts the longest though.
Yeah,
They let
somehow.
that dipshit live for so fucking long, and I was so mad. This is dumb. Like, and he's just like getting picked apart by the chihuahua noises.
I love how angry you are about this.
It's stupid. I laughed so hard because it's so dumb, and he just like is here, kid, I'll help you, and he like just gets murdered by them while helping the kid get on the raft, and then the piranhas start attacking the ropes of the raft.
Yep.
What? Why?
I also
know.
thought it was dumb that they're going on a raft too. It was like, couldn't you just take a boat?
Yeah.
You're
right.
like there's a lake
a
house.
motorized boat or something. 'Cause-
No, that'd be too easy.
Yeah, I know, right? They have to.
but
we
it's
have to,
so stupid. It was just like I couldn't understand the logic of what people were doing. In
I have
this
to
movie.
really think that it was a choice of one of the writers to be like, and they were just sitting there writing it with whomever. Because I believe Yeah, Piranha was written by 2 people. So they must have just been sitting and like riffing off each other and we're like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
Let's do a raft part. I like having a raft in the boat.
Do it
in the movie.
And then they didn't have anyone else's opinion, so they were like, let's do it. Let's go with it. And then went full in with this idea, and then it just kept going from there. I felt like the movie was actually too long, even though it was short.
Yeah, right, really. Yeah, it definitely felt like, why are they wasting my time with this part and this part? Like, the one parallel with Jaws is it has like the espionage, not really espionage, but it has like the people in power lying to the people or keeping things secret. Yeah. So it has a parallel with that, which is interesting, but that's about like as deep as it really gets.
I think also after the success of Jaws, everybody wanted to make another like underwater
based horror film.
But I don't think that we should take Piranha as seriously.
No, I think that was my problem.
Yeah, and but I think that's the intention though. The movie isn't meant to be taken seriously, hence the parody aspect of it. A lot of stuff, like there's overacting like in many parts of the movie that are really silly and really reminiscent of B movies. So I feel like a lot of it's like intentionally like that.
I also watched Jaws first. And then I watched this.
I needed Jaws to remedy myself after watching Piranha.
Oh, you watched the second? I think I watched Jaws first because it's like it came the years before, and then they showed Piranha, and then they made Piranha. So I was like, I want to watch Jaws first. And coming off of watching Jaws, which is like still a pretty impressive movie to watch, it's still like, oh, okay. And then going into this parody, I was taking it too seriously. It was like when I told you guys about when I watched Man in the Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. And I like hated it the first like 2 times I watched it. And then I ended up loving it like 3rd, 4th time through. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Because I was like, this isn't that serious. I don't need to take it that serious. And then when I realized I didn't take it serious, it's a hilarious and enjoyable movie.
What did you guys think of the like the grand finale of Piranha, which they were clearly building up to, which is them getting to the summer party?
We're just a smorgasbord for the piranhas.
They fucking ate children.
Yeah.
They like had like a group of kids get bit up by piranhas in that movie.
That was my first thought, was that they had no qualms with having children getting eaten. So it was just like, for some reason that didn't really happen in the new movies, like in the remakes.
Nope.
They didn't I think it was, who knows, it could have been the time period where they were like, this isn't a good thing to put into a film.
We can't, yeah, exactly.
But they had no problem showing.
Yeah, but in the 70s, murdering kids is fine. But now in 2014, no, we can't be killing children.
It's cool, though. We can show someone's face getting ripped off, but it's no big deal.
I mean, I was kind of like, I'm coming from seeing Piranha 3D and then seeing this one, which I watched after Jaws. Just like you guys. It seems like we all kind of did. We watched Jaws and then, Eddie did it the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
because I've never seen the original Piranha movie. And I was just like, I hate this movie so much.
It's really dumb. But I mean,
I hate its editing. I hate its structure. I hate its acting, even though I do like some bad acting at times. Like, you could take like William Shatner's acting or Bruce Campbell's acting.
Oh my God, William Shatner.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I mean, yeah, definitely. And even then, even the big finale of Gore was like really lackluster. I was very much like not impressed with it at all. I was like, wow.
I couldn't figure out if it was that originally it wasn't very good, or if I've seen too much stuff where they did a lot more.
Yeah,
and
right.
By comparison, it was like, this is pretty tame.
Yeah.
Well, Corman always does like budgets his movies to a certain way. He never goes over budget on his movies. So he always manages to stay within the budget that he sets out. So
yeah, I can only imagine that their filming crew was really small. And they only had like the actors and then like 2 or 3 people who were out there with them. And so they got it done and made a lot of money off of it. So they were probably like, yeah, whatever. I don't care if anybody likes this movie.
Yeah, really.
I still made them a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kept going.
Yeah, exactly. You're just making art to get money, basically. I don't know if I have anything else really to say about Piranha. Piranha.
How they
I spell it wrong every single time I go and try to like search it. Try to search Piranha. I can't seem to spell it right the first time.
I remember it like this: Piranha, ha, Piranha, and just like that. Basically, is how I remember it. It's like how I remember how to spell Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
What Wednesday?
Wednesday.
You guys want to go watch a good water-based horror film?
Crawl.
That's a good one. Wait, no, isn't that the one that's coming out?
It just came out.
Oh, it already came out?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, I don't know if I want to watch that one, but it's interesting. Mostly, I was watching. Right. Somehow they get trapped in their own house with one singular gator who's like trying to kill them, and they just can't seem to escape
in
the
the
situation.
Florida,
In the middle of like this humongous storm is what's happening in that film. But I really like Lake Placid for some reason. Giant crocodile.
Oh, okay.
I've not seen that one.
Lake Placid is like, there's moments of it where it's really serious and other ones where it's like kind of funny-ish. Because they have those moments where they're like, oh, it's okay, guys, there's nothing here. And then it jumps out of the lake, and it's a huge fucking CGI gator or crocodile that just eats him. It's kind of like when you're watching Deep Blue Sea, and the thing pops out and gets Samuel Jackson. Yeah, that's another good one, too.
Now we're going to find a way out of this place.
Yeah.
First, we gotta...
And then it fucking comes out and chomps him. That movie's good. It also had LL Cool J, and he survives the whole time. So
awesome.
Yes.
He also survived Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just like, damn.
All these actors were just like, he survives this horror movie. He survives this horror movie. Like,
I did also watch The Meg, which was hilarious. Like, don't take it super serious. If you go watch it and you're like, this is gonna be a funny movie, it is absolutely one of the funniest movies I've seen. Because they made the size of this megalodon shark so enormous that it's too unbelievable. You're just like, this is not.
How big did they make it? Like Godzilla big or something?
Almost. Like, its mouth pretty much like there's several feet on either side when it goes to eat one of the boats. And it just didn't like it didn't make any sense. And then they have this research facility where like most of the place is made up of entirely of glass. Like there doesn't seem to be any support on it. And so it like just crushes all of it and goes in, like rams into it. So it's just a lot of that.
That's terrible.
And then it was
for
Jason,
underwater base.
Right, yeah, like it doesn't make sense. They had Jason Statham be super serious, even though like he's supposed to be like a marine biologist or something like that, which doesn't fit. Like he's an action star. They should have just made him some like crazy hunter or like some dude who goes underwater and like harpoons something.
He does. I just imagine with like some glasses and a little suit on, and he's just like, he's like,
I'm just
so I've been mixing my beakers. I've been mixing all these tinctures, looking at this big shark.
Oh my god!
Studying it, writing in my notebook.
Before we go into Jaws, quick side note: have you guys seen the movie Crank?
Yes,
I love Crank.
Fuck yeah!
You want to watch a good movie with Jason Statham? Go watch Crank. The whole movie. The only thing that he does in the movie, he's trying to keep his heart pumping after getting poisoned. That's it. That's the whole movie.
Yeah,
and it continues into the second movie.
All about he has to keep his blood pressure up.
So he just does wild shit all the way through the whole movie. It's so funny. Yep. I love that. Anyway, getting into Jaws. So Jaws was released before Piranha. It was released what year?
1975.
1975. It was directed by Spielberg. Everyone knows who Steven Spielberg is.
Yep. If you don't know, his first name's Steven.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a first name. Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Because we've just always known him as Spielberg. Apparently, he's kind of like, he's a nice-ish guy. Like, he's not like a terrible person. He's not Ridley Scott. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Ridley Scott thinks he's like God's gift to the world. And anytime he has an interview, he's such a fucking prick. But like, whatever. So this movie came out in 1975. The budget was $9 million.
Wow.
They actually went over that budget.
Yeah, way over. It was supposed to be like fucking, I think it was like 5 or 6, I think they were supposed to be at.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they went way over, but guess how much the fucking movie made back? $470 million back in the box office.
Cha-ching.
So
this was also like the first ever summer blockbuster movie.
Yeah. So before this movie came out, there was really no like rhyme or reason why they released movies at a certain time of the year. They just did it unless it was related to a holiday. So if you had a Halloween movie, you tried to do it near Halloween. You did a Christmas movie somewhere near Christmas. But he decided to release it at the end of summer because he knew people were going to be going to the beaches. They're probably going to be in the water. And it was a good time to get people afraid of it. And so the term blockbuster came from this film because there were so many people lined up to watch it and they were lining around the block. And so that's how that term came about.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. That's fucking cool as hell.
So he came up with that.
Oh, it's so
well, I mean, the term itself wasn't coined until maybe like a couple years later, but that was like
cool,
that was like the origin. And then summer releases became a thing after that. Where people are like, we're going to release. So that's why we have so many good movies now that get released during the summer.
Yeah,
like
they always like.
Yeah. I feel like summer movies just get stretched out to the whole year now. They don't really feel
right.
Like
we're starting to get things more in summer and then more towards the end of the year, like around Christmas and like winter time, which is when we have most of the Star Wars films. Really,
the cool thing about Jaws I know that we're the cool thing about Jaws is that you wouldn't expect it to be as good of a movie as it is, because the premise, unless you've read the book.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, if you've read the book, then you might know something about it. But if you haven't and you know nothing about this movie, the premise is big shark attacks a community, and that's it. It sounds really like there's no way this could possibly be good at all. There's no way. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's such a simple premise. It might almost be too simple, and we've seen too many movies that have already done it. Like nowadays, this is an older one, but this is one of the first.
Jaws was like the contemporary of Moby Dick for its time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes,
nice.
But very condensed. And the book is significantly different from the movie with its characters. Everyone in the book are really bad people.
Yeah.
Let's see. Richard Dreyfuss' character in the book has an affair with the chief's wife in that story, because she apparently had an affair with his brother.
Oh shit!
And she wants to reminisce that same feeling, because the relation with him and the brother in that story. So they're having like a fling, like a summer fling together, while this whole shark thing is happening.
Wow, dang! So it gets into like the really deep interpersonal relationships of all the people,
which
in the
I
community.
thought was like. That's a good thing that they took that out of the movie, because I think that would distract the whole story.
It would be too convoluted.
Yeah, it would just I agree with Eddie. It would definitely distract from the overall plot, and it would fuck up the flow.
Plus, they were also when they were going shark hunting, and for the final finale, in the last hour of the movie, they keep going back to the town every night because they could never get the shark. And the way they take out the shark is very anticlimactic to how they did it in the movie.
Oh, really? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the shark dies by a wound that was like a harpoon hit into him, so he just dies of his wounds pretty much, then blows up from a compressed air canister.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, they did something close.
So he bleeds out, or does he still explode in the book?
He doesn't explode at all.
All right, so he just bleeds out in the book and dies.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie
they
like, blow his fucking head up.
We're
gonna blow the fucking shark up. Yeah, how American?
Which MythBusters actually disproved that.
It won't happen.
Yeah, no.
You just need C4 to take out a shark, just to blow it up.
Yeah,
that
there you
was
go.
a hilarious MythBusters episode. I love that show.
Yeah,
Just watch it all the time.
It's So, I mean, let's break down Jaws from the beginning. I mean, I know a lot of people have seen it, but let's break it down for those who haven't. We have a lot of younger people these days who haven't seen classic movies like this, too.
It's true. So you have this town where their main way to make money is by getting all this tourism to the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are ready for this summer to open. The beaches are going to open. They're ready for it.
Or they'll go on welfare next year.
Yeah, or else they're all going to be fucked because they have no money off of this.
That sounds like a very politician thing to say.
Right?
We'll be on welfare if we don't fucking figure out our bullshit for this summer.
You got the mayor, who is literally the worst person.
Oh yeah, worst fucking person ever.
He just wants money. He doesn't care what's going to happen to people. Yeah. And the introduction you get to the shark being around there is the girl who goes swimming.
Chrissy.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
What's your name?
Swimming.
Chrissy. Where are we going? Swimming.
Yeah.
just happy, carefree,
exactly.
lucky.
Yes.
At the start of the summer.
Swims out to the buoy, gets trapped there, and
I'm not drunk.
This is the first time you realize that the shark is in the water. And this is kind of your introduction to the shark and what might happen.
And the classic
They show it through the perspective of the shark, you're the killer.
The iconic da-dun.
John Williams score.
Da-dun. Da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I love that shit so much. It's so good. Anyway.
He worked very hard to come up with that exact piece. There were so many alternate versions that he made, and he kept bringing it to Spielberg and being like, okay, what about this one? What about this one? And he was like, nope. And he finally got it, and he was like, that's it. That's exactly what we need for it.
That song is so silly because it's only 2 notes.
Yeah.
It's just dun, dun,
dun.
And so
it was the build-up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's really playing with the idea of simplicity.
Yes.
Simplicity just
You also couldn't see the shark. Or you had the view of it as you were going up to it, so you knew something was going to happen.
Well, Spielberg was going to show the shark more.
Yeah.
But then
mechanical issues.
Yeah, because apparently your mechanical sharks don't work well in fresh, clean water as opposed to sea salt water.
Yeah.
Very much.
You I think that the absence of the shark is actually really good for the movie because they kind of keeps him a mystery. It really plays on people's fear of water and fear of the unknown in this one a lot.
That? There's like a fear of like open water.
Yes, I'm not sure what the name of that. What name of that fear is?
It's like thalassophobia. I think.
I'm gonna Google this shit.
Yeah, we'll get a quick check on it. I definitely have that.
Do we want fear of the water or the ocean?
I guess it's fear of the ocean in this case.
Yeah, because if I don't know how afraid you get in a swimming pool.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Because exactly. But
I know where the bottom is.
Yeah, in like the ocean though, what looks?
All right, I'm gonna try and pronounce
off
this.
At one point.
Yep.
It's thalassophobia.
Okay.
So that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Which I think Matt. I don't think it's Matt Hooper. What's his name? The police chief's name in the movie.
Oh, Chief Brody.
Brody, yeah.
Fucking, I'm here with the names today. I'm never on with the names. Like, I love Jaws.
Yeah, me too. Like, Brody is afraid of drowning, pretty much. He's afraid of going into the ocean. He's the only one that's not very enthusiastic about.
Isn't he the only one wearing like a life preserver too when he's on the boat?
I
think he like puts one on immediately.
When he and Hooper go out to investigate after they get to open the shark.
Well, let's go back. So the girl gets trapped there and she tries to swim back, right? Mm-hmm. And then she gets killed. But this is also one of those scenes where like she gets grabbed by her legs basically and just like gets moved around the water with her. Yeah, she gets thrashed in the water. Really, is what happened. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for the time period when you're watching it, that must have been pretty violent.
Oh yeah,
like, you were like, oh shit, like she is like getting murdered right now.
Yeah, right.
And then her dead body washes up on the shore, and that's how Chief Brody gets brought into it because they're like, we found a dead body. And at the time that he gets the call, he's just chilling at home in his nice little beach home.
Yep.
Like, his wife is super nice, who I can only assume at this point is like really faithful. Because she's like really nice. They like love being around each other. They didn't really bring anything from the book into the story.
They're fresh from New York too.
That's it. Yeah.
And I think he decided to probably just live there or transfer to Amity. And
I guess to relax, to kind of retire-ish, and then this shit happens.
They ask him. Brody's fear of water is an interesting bit because they bring it up. They're like, "Why would a guy afraid of water live on an island?" They say that to him, and he's just like, "It only just depends on if you're." It basically it's like it depends on. He basically said it depends on the perspective. I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically says like, "It's only an island to those not on it." It's kind of like it's kind of like that idea. Like, so I really like that quote. I don't know. It was a very nice quote and a very good response to something like that.
The dialogue and just how characters talk to each other is just very phonetic. I feel like
it's really, really good. It's very good.
This is like one of my top favorite of Spielberg movies, next to obviously Jurassic Park and the Indiana Jones movies and Catch Me If You Can is another one of my favorites of his. Plus, this was also his second movie. He did another movie which was kind of like a horror movie. It was a chase movie. A guy getting chased by a truck, pretty much. It's like Jaws, just in that format.
But an evil truck.
No, there was someone driving the truck.
Oh, okay. Is it a big white truck? The big white truck
just remade the story one more time.
but he's stained with blood on the front from all the people he's just run over with it.
Yeah. Then his second other movie he did was Sugarland with Goldie Hawn, but that didn't do so well either. So this was Jaws was Spielberg's big hit of breaking in.
Yeah, it really got people to notice him, and he was able to continue making films after that. It got him the money, basically.
He has had a background of working in the industry. He worked on Rod Serling's other show that was not The Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of it right now.
So, come back to Jaws. Chrissy, the girl that goes for a swimming, dies.
Yes, she gets washed up on the beach.
Brody comes in to investigate, our police chief.
And he's just flabbergasted. He doesn't know what possibly could have eaten her and what happened. She has these huge bites, chunks missing from her. And so they take her in to get her body
There's nothing
examined.
really left of her. There's just her
arm. Just bit. When the scientist comes in, they bring out a little bucket, and that's her remains. She's just in a bucket.
Richard Dreyfuss can barely hold in his lunch.
Yes.
This is a really good example of showing and not telling.
Yeah, you get to see what
they don't rely on showing you this really grotesque, mangled body of this girl. They just show she's in a bucket. That's how much is left of her.
I think her hand is the only thing that's visible.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they really show with all the crabs over it. And it's grotesque enough as it is.
Right.
There was no boating accident. It was not Jack the Ripper. It was a great white shark.
So they
so the word hasn't gotten out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They keep it under wraps. They bring the body in. For
the mayor wants to keep it under wraps.
Yeah. Well, Brody goes to the mayor and is just like.
The mayor just like meets up with them.
People got to know. You got to close the beaches. There might be something in there, and they haven't really like found out just yet what it is. And then the other guy shows up, the expert.
Yep.
I don't know what to call him, but he's
a marine biology expert.
He's a marine biologist.
Marine biologist. Yep.
So he shows up and is just like, you guys need to close the beaches. This is crazy. This is a shark.
Not a boating accident.
Yeah, like how do you think this is a boating accident? And then like is basically telling them all they're stupid. And there's like, no, we have to go tell the mayor. And then the mayor's like, whoa, we can't just close down the beaches.
Tomorrow's the 4th of July. And those beaches will be open.
That's the exact quote.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says.
It's just like,
this is also a really good shot.
Spilling out over the dock.
Yep.
I love it. It was the dad from The Graduate.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Who tells Richard Dreyfuss, I think you are filth. I think you are scum. You are degenerate.
Oh, man. Okay. So they examine the body, and then he goes to talk to the mayor, and they're on like this little buoy or some sort of transfer thing for the cars in between where they're at. And this is where he has like the main discussion with him, where he's just like, you really can't open it. And he tells him all about how he needs to make money off of this.
Like the guy even who called in the accident says he can redact that information of saying it was a shark attack.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're full into hiding whatever's going on. And I couldn't help but think.
Because they got to keep their business going. Otherwise.
Yeah. They're afraid that the town is just going to not make any more money if all the tourists get scared.
Yeah.
And so this is like, I felt like it was a direct piece of social commentary about the time period, about how they felt about either the government and or their local government and them just kind of hiding things from people, not really knowing the full story.
I think 75 was also the post-Nixon era.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I think wasn't like the 70s going through another inflation as
sort of. I mean, it was like things weren't super expensive. You're able to go to college and have a job and make a pretty good amount of money, and you can go and buy your own house and things like that. It's only just starting to get to the moment where you can't really do that so much anymore. And then it was changing into a different time period. But people definitely were sketchy about the government because of having things like fucking Watergate and other things happen. And now they are like having a loose trust with who the president is. I don't remember exactly who was the president in
Ford or Jimmy Carter.
Pretty sure it was Jimmy Carter.
Who was president during Jaws?
Yeah.
Jaws was made.
So, like, I feel like that would definitely change things about the film, where they were definitely making social commentary about things that are going, as most films do, especially with horror films. They usually make commentary about what's going on, and it's usually something versus another thing. If it's not just one person, it's like
Gerald
society.
Ford.
Oh, it's Ford?
Yeah.
Okay. So, who knows? It could have been
Gerald
commentary.
Ford died today at the senseless age of 83, and I'm gay. Wait, what?
No, wait, what?
But I'm not gay.
What is that from?
It's an SNL bit where Dana Carvey is playing this well-known news broadcaster, and he's like planning out his next like news announcements because he's going on like a sabbatical. So they're going to use that footage just to like as recording. And
I love that you know all these things.
And they're just going to announce when Ford is going to die at the age of like 83 or 84.
Yep.
And how he dies a certain way eaten by a pack of angry wolves.
I love that they do that specific voice, like what all radio was during the 40s and the 50s. Mm-hmm. How it was just a fake accent. People just made it.
They just had like a specific way of talking for radio.
Yeah, well, they wanted to differentiate themselves from other people around the world. So they wanted American radio voices to sound a certain way. So they did that.
Yep, trying to individualize.
Yep,
creating a personality.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Then you're like, what's that guy on the shock jock? Mr. Curly Hair.
I do not remember.
Okay.
So back to Jaws.
Yeah.
So on to Jaws. So we introduce our marine biologist who says we got to close the beaches.
So I think this is all of the main characters except for one,
They haven't introduced Quint yet.
Yeah, the fisherman or the expert
who's MVP of this
monster
movie.
catcher.
Where he
honestly
takes his fingernails on the
right.
chalk.
So they have like
just to shut people
they have like
up.
a meeting basically, like they're gonna figure out what should we do about this, and should we tell people? And then the guy shows up and just scratches his nails on the chalkboard to get everyone's attention, and is like, "I'll catch it for you.
I'll catch you a shark for you."
It's not gonna be
Sounds like a pirate. That's
It ain't
like
gonna
awesome.
be cheap."
It ain't gonna be cheap.
Robert Shaw's character. It ain't gonna be cheap. I'll catch him for you for a price. Eating his crackers and just.
Oh my
I
god,
love it so much, dude.
it's cool too because during that shot they kind of like zoom into him, like past all of the people who are sitting there. He's just sitting there relaxing, waiting for his moment to do that, which is like the most dramatic thing you can do in a movie. But he gets all their attention. And is like, yeah, I'll do it. Fuck it. Like, you gotta pay me though. Like, it's gonna be expensive.
I'll bring you the head, the tail, or the whole damn thing.
Right.
So fucking good, dude.
Oh yeah, that's when he's like, that'll get you the head, that'll get you the fins, and that'll get you the tail, the whole damn thing. Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of good lines in that movie, just like either that, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah,
like just lines you definitely know and recognize, and that this movie was that movie.
So they decide that they're not going to tell the people. They're going to keep the beaches open.
They keep it open.
And what happens because of this?
Like a boy gets killed and a dog.
Yep, a dog and a boy die.
I mean, okay, these kids had it coming though. They were stupid. They pick up their boat and go to the other fucking side.
No, this is before that.
Wait, am I thinking?
This is the first death that happens when the little boy gets eaten.
Second.
What's up?
The second one.
Well, no, because there's the boy and the little
the
yellow raft.
Girl dies, and then
And then the kid die afterwards. And then they have the one where the guys are in the other harbor.
Oh shit!
They have the fake shark that comes in.
Yes.
The pranksters that come in and do the fake shark thing.
He made me do it.
A cool shot is at the very beginning of the beach. You can tell the public's uneasy about the ocean because the entire shot, no one's in the water. No one's in the water. And then when those like one little family walks in,
the mayor forces someone to go in.
Right.
Oh, does he?
Why aren't you not going in the ocean?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's right. Fuck me.
He forces his family to go in, basically.
God,
it's like, well,
I'm so
just
fucked.
Like, I just put lotion on and
I missed that.
That's some bad.
Brody is there as well, and he's being very vigilant. He's like, got his binoculars. He's watching. He knows something might go down. He's just super nervous, and then sure enough, a couple minutes later.
Well, he has that cop's perspective.
Yeah, for real.
Where he's trying to like notice maybe a possible danger that might happen, and then you just people having a good time and fooling around until like the shark eats Alex. Your hands are so pruny.
I remember the dog's name is Pippin, so rest in peace, Pippin.
Rip.
Pippin.
The dog does not survive.
No, it does
this
not.
Movie.
Not like we got to know the dog.
That's true.
Naming after a Lord of the Rings character.
Oh my god, that's funny. Anyway.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
I love the old man that goes to Brody as he's drying himself, and he's got his old man boobs, and he's gonna.
Yeah, he's just like, so how's it going?
He's trying to see around him. He like keeps leaning to the left and to the right.
We've heard about you, Chief Brody. You don't like the water, and his reaction back is like, "That's some bad hat, Harry."
Yep, that's some bad hat, Harry. All these lines,
so many good lines. That's another one that's just like on the delivery.
Harry's like put off by that comment.
And he just goes like,
I think he takes off the hat, doesn't he? He like reaches up. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
He takes off though.
I swear that he kind of just walks
He rightly
away.
fucks off.
Right, because that's really what that line.
Really,
was.
what that was. Fuck off, Harry. Anyway. So after this, there's the prankster shark.
Yes.
Because they do the whole thing and then...
On the 4th of July.
Yep, on the 4th of July. Yeah. And so the prankster, the two kids come in with the two shark fins and freaks everyone out. And it distracts them from the little kiddie harbor where the little kids are in their boat doing stuff. And it's not actually his kid that gets eaten. It's just a passerby, like a bystander that's trying to help them out with stuff.
And that's the first time... Well, this is the second time you actually do see the shark in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
You see, like, fins... You don't really get to see like a full mouth just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like later on ish in the film. But basically at this point, they are like, we have a bounty on the shark. Everyone go get it. And then all these fishermen show up.
And Richard Dreyfuss shows up too.
Yeah.
And they're all like people out of town wanting to hunt this shark, which I think also Jaws, after its release, helped like fishermen hunt sharks for real?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. So they basically like got this idea that sharks were really dangerous, and then people, of course, followed through, and they started hunting for shark fins because they make shark fin soup, and so that hunting practice got really normalized, and people were doing that. Which really people are really upset because sharks, like, they account for much less attacks on people than anything else.
Sharks really aren't that. They're actually not very dangerous.
Well, they
animals.
don't like the taste of people. They bite people accidentally, and then they're like, "Oh no!" and then we'll usually spit them out.
Yeah, and it's not really like exactly.
Josh just perpetuated that fantasy.
Yeah, right. The idea that like sharks are bloodthirsty killers when a lot of them are pretty docile. Like they don't really.
That was like Shark Week on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
They always played on those kind of fears of people, but really most of it was just like, they're actually pretty nice.
Yeah, they're actually pretty nice. I was hanging out with like 15 of them yesterday.
Exactly.
Didn't die. They're crazy.
Hanging out with the street sharks from the 90s.
Fuck yeah, that was such a good show. I hope they make more of that.
Dang.
Those were cool toys.
But here's the so that's the reason why they let the beaches back open again is because those hunters that go out, they bring back a tiger shark.
Right. They think they caught him.
Yeah, they think they caught the shark because
it's a hefty shark.
Yeah,
I'll give them that.
One.
Like they think it's a big one, but it's not quite what they're looking for. He even measures. The marine biologist runs up to it and measures the mouth,
the bite radius,
and is just like, no, that's not the same shark. You guys are completely off, and no one believes him.
Well, they were just like, I wonder what kind of shark it is, and Richard Dreyfuss is like, it's a tiger shark, and the other guy's like, oh what?
Oh what?
And it's like, what are you talking about? All this bite radius.
That's the
nonsense.
bigger dude, right? Who's just standing near him.
Yeah, he's one of the fishers.
Yeah, one of the fishermen.
And because he's a marine biologist, he should know this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the fuck, man? We just caught this fucking shark who we think has been eating all these kids and dogs. And you're just like coming in with your college education telling us something different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so they use that shark as a means and a reason to open the beaches again.
Right, so they think everything is safe. They're like,
well, the mayor just needs to keep that business going.
Right, so he's terrified at that point because they've closed it down. Everyone is scared to go onto the water. And so they're like, all right, we can open the beaches back up again, which is like pretty much what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
They just go and make it worse.
Oh, man. And so, yeah, they open the beaches up again, and then the innocent bystander guy in the boat with the kids dies because of that. With the prank also. The prank was a good like flip up in the movie for them because they're like, oh, shit, shark again, and then it like ends up being a farce. that was interesting. I like that they did that in the movie because like the idea, they bring in the idea of pranksters, like, you know, using controversy to get like a rise out of people and stuff. Well, almost like commentary on trolling, kind of.
Yeah. So this made me think of during that time period, there was a lot of serial killers. There was a lot of people who were committing murders and things like that. And then what would happen as a result of these, if they were really popular, was copycat killers. And so they end up coming out with stuff like did you guys ever hear of the Tylenol murders?
No.
This is crazy. So apparently, like late 70s, early 80s, when Tylenol was a huge thing, everyone took Tylenol for everything. Some dude went out and put like cyanide inside of random pill bottles, like across a certain area of the country. And then people would take the Tylenol and would just drop dead because they had taken a lethal dose of cyanide. And so they had like 2 or 3 days where like 10 people just died. They just dropped dead suddenly. They didn't know what was going on. And then they finally figured out that it was in the Tylenol. And then after that, people started doing it again. Like it wasn't even, they suspected it wasn't the same person because it happened like closer to the New York area and then randomly towards the West Coast. And so like shit like that kept happening and people were suddenly really afraid of, you know, going and just buying a random bottle of Tylenol. They had to like pull it off the shelves and go through every single bottle to figure out what it was. And they never found that guy. They don't know who did it. Yeah, they could still be alive and like just walking around. But like they were definitely, that's what it made me think of because that fear for the public, they kind of kept it quiet for a second. And then they really had to go public. And then Tylenol had to be like, we're so sorry. Like it's totally us. Like we are not a part of this. It's just some random dude who put poison in these things. We use cyanide.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, that's crazy. So, yeah. So that happened.
It's kind of like that post 9/11 scare when people thought terrorists were going to, like, poison baby food.
That was weird. That was a weird result of that. I remember that. People were very afraid of that, which is, like, they just thought people were going to go and kill babies for some reason.
Just, like, everyone got scared after that time. It was just, like, what could possibly happen.
I like that Jaws decided to include the politicians who are just greedy because I feel like that's definitely a nice parallel, even then and now, where we have just corporations that would probably do the same shit to us.
Greed is one of the sins for a reason.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Going back Catholic.
So when they thought they caught the shark, and then the expert who we saw at the beginning, I keep forgetting his name, the fisherman that they join up with.
Can't I remember it? Hooper.
They get Hooper, they get the marine biologist, and they get Brody, and they're like, all right, we actually need to go look for this thing. Like, it has to be out there. And so they go out there with a big old bucket of chum and start just throwing it in the water and seeing if anything will show up. And they're on this rickety boat.
Mm-hmm. It's on Quint's old fishing boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love this guy because he like sings sailor songs with them
whole
and stuff.
time.
I love it. I love all of it.
Spanish lady.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Makes me so happy.
Show me the way to go home. I don't want to get...
So I think this is the first time you get to see the shark, like the full mouth, just pop out of the water and almost eat Brody.
Yeah.
Brody's just like surprised. He takes
He's got a cigarette in his mouth, throwing some chum in the water, and then
Why
things
don't you
just shows
throw
up.
some chum down here?
And he
See how
just
you
sits
like
up
it.
really fast, like all straight, and just, you're going to need a bigger boat. Good shit.
He is scared, and rightfully so, because that thing is huge.
Yeah.
But it's also funny to
Bruce.
see. Yeah, right, Bruce.
Who's named after Spielberg's lawyer or the Great White Turd.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
What was the origin?
Spielberg had a lawyer named Bruce, and so they just named the shark. And the lawyers are all like sharks in skin suits, pretty much.
Yep.
So that's the shark's name, or the Great White Turd, because the mechanical shark kept like failing every time.
I love the behind the scenes photos of the mechanical shark, because people would just like lay in it and take photos.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
Spielberg accidentally broke it while George Lucas was trying to crawl inside it.
Dude, who actually has the original Bruce shark?
There's 3 of them. They just rented. They refurbished one not too long ago. Like Greg Nicotero had a copy of one of the sharks that they just like refurbished just recently.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
They never. I've never been to Universal Studios, but do they use one of the sharks for that, or no? Is it a separate animatronic thing that they put in there?
No, that's the animatronic.
So it's a separate thing entirely.
Yeah, they made a completely new one
that they developed
specifically for that ride.
For the show, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
even the one in Florida.
So there were 3 mechanical sharks made for the movie, and then so a couple people own those sharks. That's pretty rad.
I'm sure somebody owns it, or it's like in storage somewhere.
Yeah,
like where they keep a lot of movie props and things like that. I feel like if I was in a movie and there was cool props like that, I would like try to get it or buy it or something.
Yeah,
like,
I'd take it home with me.
Well,
right?
When a movie production was like done with their props and costumes, they would just give it away. They wouldn't really warehouse it or store it.
Well, now they're really wary about that because they want it for displays afterwards. So like a lot of the Star Wars stuff is not given to the actors or actresses, and like they'll usually put it on display, like their lightsabers and things like that. Like Mark Hamill didn't get to keep his lightsaber for the recent movies. He had to like leave
but he
it
has
with
his
them.
old one.
He has his old one from the original for sure, which is probably way more valuable and cooler.
Way cooler anyway, because it's history.
Yeah, it's movie history.
Yeah, movie history. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that was Star Wars was an iconic film.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
But we're talking about Jaws, not Star Wars.
We got onto George Lucas, is why.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Look at where are you taking us, Eddie? What are you trying to do? Sabotage.
Obviously, we want to have a Star Wars conversation.
Well, Hollywood, like the big directors of the time who were starting up in the 70s and
right around the same time too. That's kind of cool to be like they probably came out of like a star class where there's just all these people who knew each other and they just did really well. I can only imagine that
Coppola and Scorsese.
Going to like these classes at like the film schools, you probably meet the future of whatever industry you're going into, and you're gonna be like, "Yep, I want to see this person in a couple years because they're really fucking good."
So, on Jaws, Brody sees big nasty shark, and so how do they fight the shark though? The battle with the shark is probably one of my favorite parts. Is that they use the barrels to weaken him to make him float to the surface, and that was one of the most like original ideas I've thought. They probably do that normally. You know what I mean, for bigger game like that, and it was. I've never thought of that idea though. I've never
also because they also did that because the shark they needed something to like make known of the shark's presence.
To know where he is, and then one of the other deals is also that
he can't dive.
He can't go down low and disappear from them at all. So it makes him tired.
They notice that when they shoot one and attach it to him, that he's still able to pull it down.
He's fine.
So they were like, he is a strong shark. So they attached
he was
two
going
or
under
three
the
of
boat
them
too. When Quinn had him on his like fishing hook line.
Yeah, they really try to hook him. Like they thought that they could just pull him out of the water onto the boat. And he's like, and then he realizes really quickly it's too big. It's way too big and too heavy to bring onto the boat.
It was like 25 feet long.
Yeah, I think. Was that like what they said, or like were they kind of like guesstimating how big he was? Because we know,
the sharks that they made were 25 feet long, I think that's what they were going off of.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
they definitely had a strategy. Like they were so like that part to me was pretty legitimate. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're gonna make sure that you can see it, that you can't dive.
It was a great way to show like the building action, falling action. Like so when the barrels disappear and go away, we're gonna be resting for a bit. There's not gonna be a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? We're at like the downtime, and then it like goes. It's like the climbing action and falling, and it does that really well, and it allows like for the audience to see that play out in the movie and like prepare themselves for it. The barrels was probably one of the more interesting things. I just liked how it was like an interesting like fight with the shark. So we have to attach these barrels to him to weaken him, to wear him out first, and then we can probably figure out how to finish him off after that.
Yes.
They were probably hoping to bleed the shark to death, to be honest.
Yeah, probably because they didn't really have like any other weapons, really.
No, harpoons and stuff, and that was about it.
They weren't planning on exploding the shark, but
no, not at all. Which I mean,
Smile, son of a.
Yeah, so I mean, eventually the shark rams itself into the boat
and just destroys it. He starts eating up the end of the boat, and it's like this is the classic scene where he is trying to not fall into the shark's mouth, and it is a humongous mouth just opening and chomping down, which could only be like a really hard scene to shoot. Like, make sure the actor actually doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
During that shot, like that was interesting.
I mean, and this is like the saddest death in the movie, in my opinion, because Quint dies.
Yep.
And he dies stabbing it in the face with a machete, and that's my favorite thing ever. So it's very Ahab of him.
Well, this is on par with the dude who was boxing a werewolf.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So we'll have to put.
I hope I give you the shit.
Yeah, I hope I give you the shit when I love that shit. And I don't know, and so Quint dies and made me really, really sad. That was also the part where they do the shark cage. The marine biologist brings his shark cage with him, and that entire thing fails because he's just bad at spearing stuff.
No, yeah. Oh my god, he just misses. Like
he rolls a series of ones and then just fails the whole thing.
Holy shit!
And then the DM's really nice.
We should
just crawls out, no problem.
Yeah, right.
We should also kind of go back to Quint and his story of how he is the way he is, because his story of the U.S. at Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah, that he talks about. Yep.
Yeah, which was an actual thing that happened, and that was actually the screenwriter kind of like wrote that afterwards. Like that wasn't in the script because the script for Jaws was not finished or done even. So.
Like when they start it?
Yeah.
Dang, they were writing it as like they were filming. That must be like a crazy time crunch for the writers to do something like that.
Makes sense why they'd go over budget too.
The book came out like a year prior to the movie's release.
I can't even believe that people greenlight stuff before a script is done.
Yeah. Like
they really thought the idea was good. They were like, yeah, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
And then they just let them write it as it was happening.
I watched a really good This is kind of this pertains to like entertainment and whatnot, but I watched a good interview with Frank Zappa. That's who it was. So it was an interview with Frank Zappa, and he was talking about how older businessmen were, how they were more willing to take risks on things,
right,
and stuff like that. And so I feel like this is kind of an example of that, where they were just like, "You want to make a movie? Sure, we'll see how you do. Go for it. Here's some cash. Go throw it out there. Go make some money. Go for it." Whereas now, like a lot of entertainment is more cautious about signing on projects.
They're definitely cautious.
So that's
they
why
want you to do it like independently first.
And one of those things is that's why we're getting so many remakes now, is because it's comfortable. They're like, there's already a market for this. We can release a remake and we will get something out of it. People will go watch the remake more than often. I feel like that strategy is going to fail at some point soon.
Yes.
But they're milking that, and that's kind of like a difference between, because like back in the 70s, there were guys who were just like risk takers. They're like gamblers, basically. They were like, "Fuck yeah, you want to? Yeah, it sounds like a fun risk. Let's go."
Both Indiana Jones and Star Wars, they thought would fail. They thought they were going to.
And they still funded them, huh?
Yeah, and they still
wouldn't happen today.
No.
I don't think
if
Jaws.
somebody tried to pitch the story of Star Wars to someone today, they'd be like, "No, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
no.
No,
We have so many sci-fi stories already.
Yeah, and same with Jaws. I don't think Jaws would be made today either. I don't think it would have gotten the green light today with today's.
Well, there's not people don't want that kind of movie. Like, it hasn't really been made. It was kind of like when disaster movies were a thing. It was only like a couple years, and then there was no other ones made after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was kind of it.
Quake and Towering Inferno. And
yeah.
Dante's Inferno.
Then you skip forward to like Dante's Peak, and then you had like 2020 and The Day After Tomorrow.
2012.
Oh, that's it. 2012. I don't know what the fuck it was called.
Disaster movies.
Yeah,
Whoopty fucking do.
It had those. And then you had weird movies like what was it? The Core, where they had to like dig to the Earth's core and figure out what was going on.
It's like Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne.
Slightly,
seems like
close.
that.
Yeah, so it's shit like that. So there's certain time periods. I feel like now, honestly, we are starting to get into like a new age of horror. Like we're moving into that, and then people are really wanting some like good movies about horror that they want to think about.
Yeah, exactly. They want brainy, like intelligent movies. That's what people want, and they want the horror aspect to still be there, but they want it to be smart.
Well, they want
like Get Out, Witch, and Hereditary.
Right. I feel like people are definitely appreciating more. This is when like it's really like, I think it's cliche, but when they call people like auteurs, when they're like, oh, they're not just like film directors or writers. They're like, they're really artists in this field and what they're doing, because they're having writer directors. Like anyone I've talked to who wants to do like the writing, the screenwriting, or like directing, you have to be a writer director. You like can't like be one or the other. And so they're starting to really be like, oh, this is a film by this person. This isn't just somebody who came in. Like Spielberg didn't write Jaws.
Nope. But people still call it Spielberg movie.
They call it his movie. Yeah. And so it's like, this is the difference now, where people are like, I don't want that to happen to my stuff. So they are writing and directing it, and then they get the rest of the crew together. Yeah,
and so then the crew gets credit for doing that. They get credit for writing the movie. And I feel like script writing is a lot of the times where movies either die or succeed.
Yes.
Like that's like the basis for a lot of it, because all your ideas are going to be based off of that in a way.
Yeah, they're definitely giving more credit to writers too, which is really nice. They're not like just kind of being like, "Oh, this person wrote it," and then some other director comes in. Unless you're getting it like attached with a big director, who like everyone kind of already
then writers
knows.
are not having secret communist parties.
Well, they yeah, I know, get put on the
like
blacklist.
in Hail Caesar.
Fuck, Hail Caesar's so great. They like literally made a movie about how people got blacklisted in Hollywood.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that's what that movie's about.
Oh, I have to watch that one. I haven't seen that one. I've heard of it though.
It's a good movie. It's actually really
Coen
good
Brothers
movie.
movies.
Yeah, and like, so they have. I feel like they're definitely moving towards having the artists, having people be the one to make this film, and now I think people are starting to take more risks with indie films.
Yeah,
with taking people from Sundance, taking people from film festivals, anyone who kind of made things on their own. They're grabbing them after that and being like, all right, now here's some money. Go make something else. And they're trying them out with big franchises.
That's what sort of happened to the directors in the 90s who grew up with directors from the 70s and 80s, like Tarantino, Rodriguez, Darren Aronofsky, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, so like
Richard
say
Linklater.
any one of us were going to be a director or writer now, our heavy influences are like late 80s, 90s, and then some of the 2000s. And so and then we're going to be what's making the newest films, which is going to be, I feel like horror and sci-fi are really what's killing it right now, because we have the technology to be able to make the CGI, all of the stuff available to us. So it's easy to film things.
Fantasy's super popular right now.
And
fantasy. Just fantasy in general.
Right.
Like sci-fi falls under fantasy, and like, fiction in general is really popular. And like, especially if you're raising the stakes to things that are outside of reality almost, that's when it's like
Plus,
really getting popular.
Is democratized. It's not like you can like go out and rent super expensive equipment now. Like, people, directors try to do, or like max out your credit cards or sell off and hawk off your stuff.
Well, they had the benefit of being able to use cheaper equipment and like no one really thought twice about it because that was kind of the standard all across. Whereas now there's a distinct difference between using like a film camera and then say like a DSLR camera, which is like you're kind of getting an affordable camera that will still give you that HD quality. So it's like now I think that's what's empowered a lot of the indie filmmakers is they now have their entire like filming system in like a one bag. Like I have all my shit. Like I have my camera, the boom mics, the recording device. Like I could record a movie today if I wanted to, but it's just about like getting it out. The distribution has become extremely difficult because of how there's like streaming sites. Most of the big businesses, they won't accept a random submission. You have to like know someone in there. And so like that's like Netflix. Netflix doesn't take random submissions. You have to know somebody who already works for Netflix or an agent who works for Netflix. And then they'll get you in and figure that out. Or they'll reach out to you. If your series is successful on its own, they'll be like, oh, can we put it onto Netflix? Then we'll give you some money for it. So it's like they're going different ways about it.
It's the same for like the music industry too. Music industry is going through kind of the same deal where they're trying to deal with the digitization and the streaming aspect, because now it's a lot different. And that was the Frank Zappa thing I was bringing up. He was talking about the music industry, but I feel like it's the same for the film industry too. Yeah, there's just less risk wanting to be thrown down by these people. Less risk. They want more inside their company, internal, what they can trust. And they don't want like randos off the streets making stuff, really.
No, it must be really difficult now to be making music because you're just so saturated with all of these people.
The best way to do it.
SoundCloud and Spotify.
Well, yeah, there's that, and one of the best ways to do it now is you have to do, because if you're gonna get a label and you want to release your own music, one of the best ways to make money off of it is you have to just stream it yourself, put it up on something else, because distribution is also they'll take a cut of distribution out of your earnings, but. That's all music stuff, and we're talking about Jaws.
So how does the movie end?
Smile, you son of
a. So basically,
literally blow up the shark.
While Hooper's hiding underwater because the shark chases him away, and he hides in some coral. Yeah. Quint gets eaten. Unfortunately, it's really sad. He goes down like a badass. Yep.
I just love how he screams.
It's just like a crazy battle cry.
It's glorious.
Funniest thing, Robert Shaw was a huge party animal in real life, so he was always like drinking and whatnot. So he needed a personal assistant with him on Jaws.
Holy shit.
And he got his personal assistant drunk that he... like, when they managed to like sneak away from the cast and crew for the night, just so Robert Shaw can have his like night of binge drinking out at a bar or whatever in Martha's Vineyard, where they filmed at. Yeah, it was just like, and the line where he does his Indianapolis line, it's edited, it's shot twice. There's a drunk version of it, and there's the Stone Cold sober version, and they're spliced together.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Holy
I did not know
shit.
that at all. That's fucking rad.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
And also that their shark attack scars that they share. Kevin Smith used that for his movie in Chasing Amy.
I forgot to mention that is like, I remember watching that scene and I'm just like, this looks like the Chasing Amy scene. He just ripped that off for Chasing Amy. Yep. It's fucking great. And instead of comparing shark scars, they're comparing sex scars.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly it.
It's fucking glorious.
What a nice
I love
connection.
That. I love that. I love that so much. Thanks for reminding me, Eddie, because I literally thought of that while watching Jaws and forgot to mention it.
That's one of my favorite parts in Chasing Amy.
High five.
You're welcome. What's a Nubian?
What's a
Oh my god! I love that.
Did you rewatch that whole scene?
Yes.
It's so good.
He goes through this whole bit about who this person is, and then at the end he's like, "That's not really what it is," and like goes through this other explanation. It's like a panel of really dumb people.
Yeah,
and they just don't know better. Like they're just.
We have an episode on it. Go watch that.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so Jaws. At the end of the movie.
This motherfucker explodes.
Fucking Brody kicks the air canister into the shark's mouth, and then gets on a rifle, climbs up onto the crow's nest, like at the very top of it. And I love this whole shot because the shark's like coming at him.
It takes like 5 or 6 shots just for him to like hit the canister.
The best part while he's doing it though is if you watch, like the ship is like sinking.
Yeah.
Like also like it's really fast too.
If he misses, he's going to die.
Yeah. It's like this is his like last, like if he doesn't figure it out, and it's just shot so well though. It's
and he
just
overcomes
done
his
so
fear
well.
of the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his moment of where he overcomes the fear.
Yeah, exactly. Overcomes the fear of the water and just focuses on what needs to be done. And then the smile, you son of a bitch. And then the most glorious blood explosion ever out of the water happens.
They must have had a lot of fun.
Their ship, that ship actually sunk for real. Like they had
they trashed it.
No. Like they were meant to have that ship sink, but it was they actually were shooting on a day where it wasn't supposed to be sinking at all. So they even had some of their like film stock in it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but they managed to preserve that film stock and like really quickly, and in time just to like edit all that together.
Oh my god!
Damn, dude. So Jaws was a tough movie to make and amazing.
This is a movie where happy accidents just happen.
Yeah,
like greatly, and this is why I feel like this is a perfect example of like where you use less is more in certain situations where you are against a wall of like problems pretty much, as opposed to like other like movies where they use less of their monster, because that's like Godzilla, like the 2014 Godzilla. Yeah.
Hate.
Yes.
Hate that movie. Hate. Yeah.
But I don't know. Jaws is an effective movie. It's an effective horror movie. It's an effective adventure movie. It's an effective like.
It was a few things. Yeah, it wrapped up a few genres into one, and it appealed to a wider audience, I think. And it definitely played on people's fears, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you fear of the ocean. Psycho had the fear of taking a shower. Yeah.
I love Jaws.
Everybody loves Jaws.
So
I don't think there's not one person in this world
classic film. You definitely should go watch it if you haven't seen it already. Just because it's rewatchable. Like it isn't one of those films where
I was rewatching again before I was going to sleep last night.
Man, I feel like that's a tough movie to watch right before you go to sleep.
Right?
You might have some weird nightmares.
Jaws doesn't really scare me that much.
That's true. It's not.
It's just
scary.
Fun movie to watch. It's just like you're invested in the characters. You're into this whole adventure, which is the contemporary Moby Dick story, where you're like hunting and fishing a monster or a sea creature.
It's also a movie that happens like in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like a very dark film. So like thematically with all of the light and everything, this changes up what you fully expect to see when you go into a horror film, which is that it's dark, you can't see anything, you don't know what the monster is. But in this case, you have full-blown sunlight. It's in the middle of the day. People are getting eaten in the middle of the day. So it kind of plays on that fear too, where you're not really safe any certain time of the day, any place really. And so this brought about the fear of being out in the ocean, in the water. And so it definitely got people scared for the next couple of years, and a huge commercial success. So they were definitely willing to start doing summer releases, summer blockbusters, and then that's pretty much where the trend started. So it was kind of a piece we couldn't skip. We had to definitely go like through Jaws.
I think also the 60s and 70s were like shifting what monsters were. Yeah. Like the 60s created like the slasher and the zombies, and like we are like monsters in a way, and we were getting away from
a lot
like
of social commentary,
universal monsters like your Draculas and your werewolves and your mummies, pretty much.
We'll have to do Night of the Living Dead sometime soon.
Yeah, or just George Romero movies.
Yeah, straight up just George Romero movies.
And the 70s was more of like slashers. Like they were getting more into
late 70s, early 80s was like the slasher era. And we talked about like Black Christmas.
Exactly.
And The Final Girls, which was like Black Christmas is considered to be one of the original slasher films.
Yeah, definitely. And so I mean, a lot of these are going to be based off of what people's fears are at the time. Yeah. So if there's the fear of your fellow man, fear of, et cetera, et cetera.
So before we finish and wrap it up, do you guys have any final thoughts on either one of the films?
Fuck Piranha.
Go watch the remake.
Go watch the remake. Piranha 3D is actually decent if you want like a gore fest of fish eating people, and it's way better, and you'll get more out of it.
Naked boobies.
There's also that. That's also a thing.
There's a lot of nudity in that film.
Yep, a lot.
I mean, the film's called Double D, but whatever.
That's the
that
sequel.
was a thing that they did, right? We're on 3D.
That was the sequel.
Yeah, that's right. They did the original, and then they made the sequel.
Gore and tits.
That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what they did.
And they killed Richard Dreyfuss in the first few minutes of the movie, that's just true. Like in the maelstrom of Piranha.
That's so fucked.
Oh my god.
I can't take this abuse much longer.
Oh, if you haven't seen Jaws yet, see it. Absolutely sit down and watch it.
Super easy to find. It's like $5 if you go to Walmart.
Yeah,
like, it's really not
fucking
like
see the movie,
film.
but it's worth a watch and it's a great flick, great movie.
If it's not already on a streaming site, I feel like some streaming service has it.
Yeah, exactly.
They usually have it up somewhere, so it's pretty easy to find stuff like that. That was pretty much it. Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say today.
So before I let everyone go, we're super easy to find on all of the streaming services. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, as well as iHeartRadio and SoundCloud. And we have our Facebook and our Instagram pages, and we love getting interactions from people. Send us messages, comment, let us know if we missed anything. If we got something wrong, let us know. What's up?
Also, a shout out to the Sirens of Horror.
Yes.
And the other one, the Spook Podcast. We see you.
Yes.
You guys are awesome.
Right. I actually listened to a good amount of the Sirens of Horror, and we got interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, they were pretty cool.
I hope we'll collaborate soon. Bring them together, and we'll figure out something for all of us.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hell yeah.
All right.
So thank you guys so much for coming to discuss this.
Anytime.
Hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, stay spooky.